Hello and welcome back. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about the transformers. We need to understand transformers better to understand BERT, because BERT in itself is a bidirectional encoder representation which is obtained from the transformers. So since BERT in itself is obtained from the transformers, it is important for us to understand transformers better to understand BERT better. Good. Now I'll explain you about the transformers with a machine translation example. So this transformers, if you want to dive deep into how transformers work, there is a paper called Attention is all you need. Attention is all you need. This is the paper that explains about transformers better, but I'll give a quick introduction about transformers and then we'll proceed to the next steps. Good. So as I said, I'm going to take the machine translation as an example here. So let's assume that this is the transformer. This is the transformer, and we give an input sentence to this transformer. Let's say we give an English sentence like "I am good." So this is basically English, and the task is to convert this English sentence into a French sentence. And now this transformer outputs a French sentence. Basically it says yes, but I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong because I don't know French, and so this is the French sentence. So this is what the transformers are capable of doing. So it basically converts this English sentence into this French sentence. But now we need to understand how this is possible with the transformers. So if I now zoom into the transformers, we can see two components inside the transformers. So there is one component here, and then there is another component here. So the first component is basically called an encoder. This is called encoder. The second component here is basically called as a decoder. And the representation of the encoder is sent to the decoder, and the output of the decoder is the French sentence. Okay, let's now dive deep. Okay, we have the English sentence here which is sent into the encoder, and this encoder now sends some representation inside the decoder, and this decoder outputs the final output French sentence. So how this works is something like this encoder now tries to understand this English sentence. I am good is the raw input sentence that is sent into the encoder, and this encoder now tries to understand English language and also how English is constructed, how this language here is constructed. It tries to understand the grammatical meaning, it tries to understand the contextual meaning, and it also tries to understand how every word in here, how good is related to am and how ham is related to I. So this is how the encoder understands this input sentence here, and after the encoder understands this input sentence, it creates a representation. Representation is nothing but it's a vector of numbers. So it contains some representation. Let me have it as R. So it understands this input sentence, basically the English, along with how the construct of the sentence here is, along with their contextual and other meanings. Now that representation is now sent into the decoder along with the original French sentence, right? So now the decoder basically has two types of inputs here. So one is the representation from the encoders, and the other is the original French sentence in itself. Now with both of these representations together, it now outputs the French sentence. So basically here the decoder tries to understand how the English representation is mapped to French. So it basically understands the bridging elements between how English is related to French, which English words relate to French, and how to construct every English sentence into French sentence. So these are the things that's learned by the decoder. But so this is the overall this is a high level understanding of how the transformers work. But if you see here in the BERT, we have something called as an encoder. So basically it is only taking the encoder part from the transformers and not the decoder part. So let's focus now on the encoder side and not the decoder side. So what BERT does is, if we see this encoder, we can stack multiple encoders on top of one another. So let's assume this is an encoder. So E stands for an encoder here, and on top of that we have another encoder. On top of that we have some other encoder, and let's say we have some n encoders here, right? So this is 1, 2, 3 up to n. So when we stack multiple encoders on top of each other, it gives a representation. So that representation is basically called as BERT. That is basically BERT. So it is stacking up multiple encoders on top of each other to get better representation of the input sentence, and with that we make multiple tasks, multiple NLP tasks. For example, we can solve sentiment analysis, we can solve text classification. Similarly, we can solve a variety of problems. So that encoder representation is BERT. And if we take the decoder part here, so what happens when we stack multiple decoders on top of each other? So here we have D, here again we have D, and here we have D. So if we stack multiple decoders on top of each other, say we have n decoders stacked upon each other, then this is something called as GPT. So the understanding here is that when we have multiple encoders stacked upon each other, we get the BERT representation, and when we have multiple decoders stacked upon each other, we get the GPT, right? So let's now concentrate on BERT, and since we are stacking up encoders on top of each other, we'll dive deep inside the encoders and see what happens there. All right. So we know that from the transformers here, the input sentence is fed into the encoder, right? I'll rub here and I'll draw. So let's see what's living inside one single encoder. So let's assume this is one single encoder. This is an encoder here, and the major parts of the encoder is nothing but we have two things here. So the first thing is a self-attention mechanism. It's a self-attention. So here we have the input sentence. Let's take this input sentence here. The input sentence is I am good. And this I am good is now sent into the encoder, and inside the encoder we have something called as self-attention. So after the self-attention, we have one more block, which is the feed-forward network. We have feed-forward network. And this is now sent into some other encoder. So we have the encoder 2 here. This is the encoder 2, this is the encoder 1, and this encoder 2 will again contain a self-attention and the feed-forward network. And this is now sent into the encoder 3, and similarly we have multiple encoders stacked upon each other. Now, what the self-attention does? This self-attention mechanism here is nothing but it is how every word in a sentence is related to every other word in the sentence. For example, you can take the sentence, the cat didn't cross the road because it was busy, right? So here in this example, what does the word it refers to? Does it refer to the cat or does it refer to the road? So the cat didn't cross the road because it was busy. So how does this it refer to the cat or the road? Whether the road was busy or the cat was busy. So this kind of relationships, how this it refers to every other word in the same sentence. So this is what is called a self-attention, right? So here the it needs to carry some information about which word it refers to in the preceding sentence. So this is how the self-attention mechanism tries to capture that information. You can now question arise. You can think that LSTMs were capable of doing this and GRUs were capable of doing this, but there was a problem with both LSTMs and GRUs because LSTMs and GRUs were not efficient whenever the length of the sentence was higher. Whenever the length of the sentence was huge, LSTMs and GRUs gave poor results, and that's where transformers came into picture. And with the self-attention mechanism, no matter how longer the sentence is, it was able to capture that information, that contextual information, and with that contextual information, we can better represent every input sentence. So that is how the self-attention mechanism helps us in the transformers, and that is what we are also using in the BERT. And as soon as this self-attention mechanism captures and tries to get those information, it is now then fed into the feed-forward network, and it gives out a representation, and that is now again sent into the encoder to self-attention, and then again to the feed-forward network. So similarly, we stack upon multiple encoders with each other, and we get the representation for the BERT. And now question arises, how many encoders do we use, and how many self-attention layers do we use, and what's the number of neurons, or what's the number of output neurons in the feed-forward network? So all these we'll see in the next video. These contribute configurations of BERT, and we'll see how different configurations of BERT work and which configuration to use at which time. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you soon in the next